Hi yogis, I'm Tovah and today's class is my sweet honey flow. So we're gonna slow things down and really savor every movement, just like warm honey dripping out of a pot. And for those yogis out there who maybe are having a hard time finding time to do yoga and fitting it in with the rest of your regular exercise, so you can see I'm a little bit flushed. I just came back from a run, but this is a great time. You could use a yoga practice as part of your run cool down. Let's get on our mats. Starting class standing at the top of your mat and just taking the first couple of moments to tune into your breath. Breathing nice and slow and deep. And if you did just finish a workout, that can always be a little bit more challenging, but a great way to practice your breath control and to help your body cool down. And today's practice is cooler. It's about being slow and not feeling like you're in a rush to get everywhere, as we do often feel. Just being present with where you are right now in this practice. Perfect, and releasing the palms. Inhale, take a big stretch all the way up. And exhale, forward, just moving through nice, easy sun salutation. Bow your head. Just take a couple of breaths here, pausing, loosening up the neck and the shoulders, your hamstrings, letting gravity just pull you down a little bit. And then let's inhale, come up partway. That might be to your knees, your shins, or somewhere near your ankles or the floor. Reaching down for your mat, stepping back to a high push-up or a plank. And then from your knees or your toes, lowering all the way down to your mat. Curl your toes under and just peel away from the mat, coming into cobra. Squeeze your shoulder blades back and down together. Release and press up and back to downward facing dog. And it's okay to use your knees here. Press back into your toes as you tip your hips high towards the sky. Tuck your belly button in. Relax your head and neck and ground all of your knuckles, your fingers down into your mat. Bend your knees a little more if you're a little bit tight here, but the bending in the knee also helps to tip your hips just that little bit more, easing tension through your lower back and your hamstrings as well. Look to your hands, step in there. And if you are a hopper, let's try to step today as we slow things down. Relax your head and neck. Inhale, big breath, swoop all the way up. And repeating that salutation, flowing here as we fold down. Bow your head. Inhale, lifting partway. And exhale as we reach to the floor, step back. Lowering. Inhale, turn the toes under, lift from your mat. Gentle back bend here. Release and press and find downward facing dog. Sitting back into the heels, tipping the hips. Eyes look to hands, hopper step forward. And exhale as you fold down. Release. Soften your knees and your gaze. Inhale, big swoop, come all the way to the top. Maybe back bending here. And exhale as you pour forward. Inhale, lengthen the back, eyes look ahead. And exhale as you reach for the floor, step back and keep exhaling as you lower. Inhale, back bending. This could be cobra or transition to upward dog if you prefer. Release and press to downward facing dog. Sitting back into the heels, tipping your sit bones high. Your neck is long and relaxed, so your ears should touch your arm bone if you tip it to the side. Looking to your hands, stepping forward, and then just fold forward. And inhale, big energizing breath, come all the way up. Drawing your hands down to your heart. So as we are getting a little bit warmer now, we begin this honey flow. Remember, it's moving slow and really methodically, really rhythmically. So not feeling rushed to get to the end of any movement, just take your time getting there. And as we get to the end of that movement, we proceed to the next. Perfect. Release the palms. Inhale, taking one sun salutation here. And exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lengthening back. And exhale, reach for the floor, stepping back. As we move still at about our warm-up speed right now. Inhale, back bend, shine your heart ahead. And exhale, press to downward facing dog from knees or from toes. Looking to your hands, stepping there. Take a nice big step, or maybe it's a couple little ones. Bowing forward. Inhale, swoop to come all the way up. And then taking salutation B here, folding down. Inhale, lifting part way. This part's still the same. Reach for the floor, stepping back. Lowering down as your elbows squeeze by your sides. Turn the toes and inhale, back bend, cobra or upward dog. Release and press to downward facing dog. Here's where it changes a little bit. Lift your right leg and step or help your right leg up to the top of your mat where your hands are. You want a straight line from knee to ankle as you come up in high lunge or take warrior one here. Perfect. Folding down, stepping back. Lowering back down, and if you feel tired here, definitely use your knees, or if you know upper body strength is not your forte, peel away from the floor. Release and press back to downward facing dog, and use your knees if your back is bending here, keeping your core strong as you lift your left leg. Step it or boost it up to your hands, and then reach all the way up. And I want you to find long, straight arms here. Folding back down, stepping back. Melting down. Inhale, taking a back bend here. And exhale, release, press up and back. Tipping the sitting bones. As you look to your hands, inhale, step forward. Exhale, release, relax. And inhale, big swoop, come all the way up. Draw your hands down to your heart in Anjali Mudra. Take a long step back with your right foot coming into a high lunge. And again, we find that place that our arms can be straight. It could be wide, together, more forward. Reach down for the floor and plant your right hand on the ground or use a yoga block. And then sweep and reach with your left hand towards your back foot. As you open your hips here, you might roll over onto the pinky toe side of both feet, but don't force anything. And then pivoting back. As you walk to the front, shift towards your back foot. So now your left leg is straight and your right leg is bent. Stay low. And then pivot and walk back to the front of your mat, turning so both toes and knees are facing forward. Step up with the back leg and exhale, fold. Inhale, big breath, come all the way to the top. Draw your hands back to your middle. Moving slowly, stepping back with the left leg, reaching the arms high, and then folding down for your mat. Plant your left hand and sweep and reach with your right, opening the hips here. Pivoting back, walking around towards your back foot, staying nice and low. Left knee bends, right leg is straight. Shifting back. And then stepping back to downward facing dog here. Tipping the sitting bones. And then just gently bring your knees down to the mat. As we work our hands forward to come into puppy stretch. So stacking the knees and hips over top of one another. As you walk your hands ahead, bringing your forehead towards the mat. You want to aim to melt your heart or your chest down to the floor as much as you can. Relax your neck here. Maybe turn your thumbs up to the roof. And if puppy pose is a little bit too demanding for your body, either today or at this point in the practice, shift your weight further back. And you could come partway to child's pose, so kind of halfway between puppy and child's. Or you could decide to go all the way back to resting child at any point here. It's really about listening to your body and reacting, finding what feels good for it, and then going there. I'm really just suggesting. As we just take a few more breaths, relishing in that stillness. Our body is warming up like honey on a warm day. Perfect. Let's start to come back to downward facing dog. Turn over the toes. Press the hips back and then look to your hands stepping there. Relax your back, fold forward. And inhale, big swoop, come all the way to the top. Bring your hands back to your heart. And as we take a breath here, just ponder that we're about to go even slower. So that was kind of like probably your warm-up speed. This next round is going to be slower than what you would typically be moving at. But the idea is that you really savor the movement. You really feel each movement. And just imagine that honey as it drips and it pours and it slithers around. That's where our body's going to be good. Perfect. Release the palms. Inhale, swoop all the way up. And exhale, fold down. Slowing down. Inhale, lifting a little. And exhale as you reach for the floor. Building our strength here as we exhale slower. Makes our muscles work a little more. Turn the toes in, inhale, back bend. Not rushing to complete the movement, take your time. Release, and press back to downward facing dog. Shifting the hips all the way back. Looking to your hands, stepping there. Help your foot if it needs a little bit of a boost here. Relaxing your back, bowing your head and neck. And inhale, big breath, come all the way to the top. Taking salutation, be still, going slow, pouring forward. Soften the knees as you bend forward. Inhale, lengthen your back, open your collarbones. Exhale as you step back and lower. Exhaling. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Shoulders draw down your back. Press and release as you move to downward facing dog. Remember, knees is always an option here. Raise your right leg as high as you can. And then step it up to your hands or boost it. Make sure it gets all the way up there. Reaching up in high lunge or take warrior one. And the high lunge is a great option if maybe you've got some knee issues. Good, folding down, reaching for the floor, stepping back, lowering. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Remember, if you're working on cobra, let's try to keep our bottom ribs down on the mat. Release. Finding downward facing dog as you lift your left leg up. And then step it or help it to your hands. Reaching up. Maybe eyes turn to the roof. Folding back down. Stepping back. Melting down. Inhale as you shine your heart, lift, eyes up. And release, move to downward facing dog. Feeling that honey drip. Look to your hands, stepping there. Exhale, fold. Really thinking about each movement. Inhale with a nice flat back, come all the way up. And bring your hands back to your heart. Stepping back with your right leg. Nice and slow, step back as we reach the arms up in high lunge, Ashtanga. Folding down, reaching for the floor. Plant your right hand and sweep and reach with your left hand as you open your hips here. Feel that juiciness. Good, and come on back as you pivot and walk to the back side of your mat. Left leg is straight here, right leg is bent. Pivot and walk back to the front. Stepping your back foot to the top. Exhale, fold down. Soften your knees. And then inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Draw your hands back to your middle. Resisting that urge to go faster, to take off. Stepping back with your left leg. Reaching the arms high. Folding back down. Planting your left hand and sweep and reach with your right. Remember, we shouldn't feel pain in our knee here. This movement is from the hip, but if it bothers your knee, stay in a straight lunge. Good, pivot around. Walk your hands towards the back of your mat like you're a ninja. Stay nice and low. And then shifting back to the front. Turn so both toes and knees are facing forward. And then plant the hands, stepping back to downward facing dog. And here we slow that honey drip down a little bit more as we come into pigeon stretch. Raise your right leg and bring your right knee near your right wrist. Walking the back leg back. Turn the toes. And then just let yourself relax down to the bottom. Maybe extending your arms nice and far. Maybe keeping them more relaxed. And just relax through the neck and shoulders, whether that's just bowing your head gently, maybe stacking your hands or your fists to rest your head on, putting your head on a cushion or bringing your head all the way down to the mat. Good, and slowly make your way out of pigeon. Bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders, tucking the back toe under, and then lift and step back. Maybe just pedaling your feet a little bit here, just kind of loosen things up. And then when you're ready, lifting the left leg, bringing left knee near left wrist, walking the back leg back. Letting yourself gently come down into pigeon. And a good option here, if pigeon stretch is not something that feels appropriate for you, you can back off. Just bring your bum to the side and come into 90-90 hip stretch. So the leg is going along the side of the mat and across the top of the mat. And then again, to go deeper, you just turn and slide that back leg back as we come into pigeon. So finding an option that's right for your body as we stay just a couple more breaths. Making sure your upper body is tension free as we open the hips, the front of the hip as well as the glutes, the buttocks. Good, and let's make our way back out of pigeon. Stepping back to downward dog. Moving any way that feels right for your body. Good, and settle back into downward dog. Look to your hands, stepping there. Relax your back, lower your head. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. And as we ponder and prepare to go one more time through that flow, even slower. So it's like that honey is a little stuck, and we're just gonna drip every last little bit out of that honey pot. And especially if you are that AAA personality who is go hard, go fast all the time, I can appreciate that this is very challenging for you, but hold yourself back. Make yourself go slow here. Good, this will be our slowest and last round. Release the palms, inhale. Feeling each movement all the way to the top. And exhale as you pour forward, lengthening our breath here as we move through this round. Inhale, coming up partway. And exhale as we transition down to our mat. Building strength. Turn the toes and inhale, back bend. And exhale slowly as you make your way back to downward facing dog. Use your core as you draw your belly back. Looking to your hands, stepping there. Relax your back, melt down, and inhale slowly, swoop all the way to the top. Bringing your hands overhead. And then let's move to Salutation B as we fold back down. Release your head. Inhale, come up a little bit. Reaching for the floor, stepping back. lowering all the way down. Turn the toes and inhale, peel away from the floor. Releasing. Slowly moving to downward facing dog. Feel every inch of that dog. Good, and then lift your right leg up and reach it up to your hands. Reaching up in high lunge or take warrior one here. And as I mentioned, high lunge is a little easier, gentler on the knees if you've got some knee trouble. Good, and pouring back down. Stepping back. Slowly lowering. Remember, knees is an option here. Inhale, turn the toes and peel away from the floor. Open your heart. Release. Pressing back to downward facing dog. Pull your hips back. Raise your left leg. Stepping your foot up to your hands. Boost it if it needs a little help. As you reach up in high lunge. And folding back down. Stepping back. Melting down. Inhale, finding that back bend, making sure this feels luxurious for your back. Release. Pressing back to downward dog. How are you doing with going slow? It's a new feeling for lots of people, but it feels great. Look to your hands, stepping there. Exhale as you fold down. Inhale, up to the top. Bring your hands down to your middle. Moving through the last part of this series, that circular pattern as you step back slowly with your right leg. Reaching the arms all the way up. Maybe look up. Folding down. Take your time as you fold. Use your core to bring yourself down. Plant your right hand and sweep and reach with your left all the way back. And then slowly as you pivot, walk around, walking your hands to the back of your mat. Bending the right leg, straightening the left. Maybe getting a little deeper. Good, and pivot and walk back. So both feet face the front. Step the back leg up. Exhale, fold a little deeper. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your middle. Stepping back with the left leg. Reaching the arms high overhead as we come into this big giant lunge, Ashvasanshalasana. And then folding forward. Slowly, slowly reach down for the floor. Plant your left hand and sweep and reach with your right. Look towards your back foot. And then slowly pivot back to the front as you walk to the back of your mat. Coming into that ninja pose, side lunge. Pivoting all the way back to the front. As your toes and knees turn to face front, plant your hands, stepping back to downward facing dog. And then tucking your knees down and coming into child's pose, either with the knees apart or the knees together, your preference. Bowing your head. Slowing down even further here. As I mentioned, this practice would make a great cool down for anybody who's doing other athletic endeavors. But it's also a great practice when you feel like you want to move, but you know that you need to slow down. If you're feeling really stressed, really agitated, kind of getting that vibration happening in your body, practicing moving a little bit slower can be a great opportunity for you to grow. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.